What's up, Saints and Aints? Welcome back to another episode of Music and Makeup. This segment I like to call Behind the Beat is where I sit down with artists who are making serious noise in their lane. Today, I'm joined by Philadelphia rapper Philly Doe Boy. We're going to talk about some of his works, namely his latest album, Snaps on the Petro. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Doe Boy Philly.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
So we're just going to jump right into it. So for people who might be new to your music, describe, who you are and how would you describe your sound?
I grew up on a lot of soul music, love a lot of soul music. I'm a student of the culture in general as far as, and I know people love to say the culture word, but I mean like, black music and just not even just hip hop, but everything. So you love something so much, you just want to be a part of it. And it just drew me in, and I started with writing after hearing certain artists my older folks and my own groups used to listen to. And, from there, I just wanted to rap as much as I could. And for some reason, I just always loved soulful records. So I wanted to rap over soulful records.
Growing up in Philly, what was the music scene like for you in particular?
I came up around a time when Major Figures and Big Property and all those guys were just getting signed. That was a huge scene for Philly at that time. So watching that, and then it turned into the DVD era where you started seeing all the Philly rappers battling each other on DVDs and just battles anywhere and everywhere, barbershops, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, for me personally, that was all cool and I loved that part of it. But I wanted to get in the studio because, I would hear people in cars and I'd be like, man, that's what I want. I want somebody to ride by and be like, yeah, that's dope. I want to, you know what I mean?
So was there a specific moment? Well, that is like the moment when you would hear people, but was there like a specific moment that you knew you wanted to make music like seriously and like to make it a career?
Yeah, I went to community college in 2002 and I was in a music non-performance class where I was learning MIDI and engineering and stuff like that. And I just would ask the teacher, could I sit after class? And I'd just be in there with blank CDs. I'd go downstairs to the mixtape tape stand and buy the instrumental CD, come back upstairs and be rapping on them people, the instrumentals and stuff. And I just started doing that over and over again. Then one day the teacher was like, man, I want to hear what you be doing at the school. Like, I ain't even care what I was doing in school. That was it right there for me personally, as far as wanting to actually take it serious and record and pursue it as a business.
I saw that you're in a group with Big Brown, Too Much Dope.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, how did you all link up? How did that come to be?
So shout out to High Off Life. And this is actually their anniversary too. So shout out to them. But they had a platform. I was living in Atlanta. They had a platform that they had just started and they was trying to put underground artists on their platform. Cause I mean, you could only really go to Sway in the Morning or Funk Flex or something like that at that time. The biggest looks you was gonna get. And so it was like a handful of guys, like 5, 6 first guys that came up there. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember names, but I know Brown was one of them, and I was one of them. And I did my freestyle, and then I saw Brown freestyle, and I was like, man, this dude is from the deep South, like he from Mobile, Alabama. And,
Okay.
um, he was rapping like a rapper. I called Rich. I was like, yo, whoever this dude is, man, I gotta get with him. And he was like, all right, it just so happened that they had another cypher event at they studio in downtown Atlanta. And I showed up. Brown happened to be there. And that's when I chopped it up with him and was like, man, we should work. And that turned into one day we just linked up and kicked it. Then the next time I saw him, we went to the studio. He was working on his album.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, you can get on this track right here. And that was it. Next thing I know, he was performing for Bun B.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So now, where did the name Too Much Dope come from?
Cause we two big dudes, it's too much and it just too wild and ridiculous hard. You know what I mean? Like it ain't too dope dudes out there in the group other than like the legendary groups. And I mean like Outkast,
Mm-hmm.
8 Ball MJG. Like
Yeah.
as far as the 2-man groups go,
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of 5 that's over too much dope. And that's not because That's my group. That's because, and I know, like I know, I listen to a lot of stuff. So there's no way possible.
All right, so what would you describe like the creative chemistry between the both of you? What is it like when you all get together, or do you all record together, or is it
Yeah,
more
yeah.
of a
So
like trading, versus back and forth?
so he's a rapper, but he's Southern the bone too. But I'm also not just a Philly rapper. I listen to a lot of Southern music and a lot of West Coast music. A lot of music, like I said, a lot of black music in general. So a lot of times I can adapt to what they talking about or just the vibe in general because I was already listening to that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I met them. So they be
Now,
they be surprised by me most times. Like, he was listening to that.
so how did you get such a diverse musical taste?
Sitting in my uncle room listening to his CDs while he was at work. You remember
Uh-huh.
them? You remember them jewel case CD things that they used to have to nail to the wall,
Yeah.
and they had like 200 CDs. I used to sit there. I could sit there all day and go
Uh-huh.
through that whole list of whatever's up there all day long, and I would do that. And then I probably listen to watch the music box
Oh, yeah.
when it was channel 65,
Uh-huh.
and just listening to music in general. And then I just got curious of where samples was coming from.
Hmm.
Like, I would hear certain songs and be like, man, I know that song, that sample. Like, you know what I mean? And then I just start doing my investigations. Of
Hmm.
course, this was before the cell phones was all super technological and you could just find anything at your fingertips. You
Right.
had to really listen to music. So I was downloading music, and that's how I became like that.
Music is very accessible right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Too
the way that you
fast.
would have to find music, it just almost feels like a fever dream. The way you have to find music is like if somebody maybe had a tape or you catch it during a radio show or
Yeah,
whatever the case may be. So, to have such like a vast knowledge of music and across like different genres is very impressive.
you gotta love it.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about your album, Snaps on the Petro. Let's start with the title. I just want you to tell the story behind it or what the title means.
So Petro was gas. That was from Minister Society,
Hmm.
and he was driving this big car, a gas guzzler. It was like a 70 something, whatever it was, and everybody in the car just riding all the time. You
Hmm.
pull up to the gas station like, yo, you know, man, throw me something, man. Whatever you need, you can get it. But when it come to me and mine,
Right.
I can't never, man, just pump my gas, man. Like, I'm tired of y'all. And then it just, you know what I mean?
So, what inspired the concept for this project? Because I'm going to tell you, when I was listening to it, the fact that you have such a wide musical taste really reflects in this album. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about how you went about picking production because there's a couple songs with like a West Coast flair to it, a couple songs with like a down South flair to them,
Mhm.
some of them with like an East Coast type of flair. And then you have like the 90s type vibes. What's your selection process?
So the original title of the album was Town Car Chronicles, is what we was calling the album, right? And
Okay.
just because I like town cars, and I had a town car, and it's a beautiful car. And when you think of Lincoln Town Cars, the Signature Series, which was the other part of the name of the album, you think of just something luxurious and smooth. You riding down the street playing some old school music, you know what I mean? Slow, just that kind of vibe. And then this was like, yeah, I got to call this Snaps on the Petro because, you know, and just the reality of it being what it is, man, it's a guzzler. Like,
Yes, it is.
you know what I mean? So he was just
Yes.
putting both the names together. But that's what drew the inspiration for the soulful sound. And shout out to Smitty Boy because he was working on that project for a while. And he was just like, yo, send me some songs that you want me to sample and I'm going to chop them. And I was like, bet.
Oh,
Sample this, sample this. And I would just send him
yeah.
some songs. And he was like, all right, cool. And then he sent me some other stuff that he had already did. So I was like, yeah, I like this. I like this. And, that's kind of how we put it together. We had a first selection that we had already done. And then we swapped two or three out for the two or three different ones and came with the final version. And I feel great about the final version.
So I think that's very unique that you had songs like in mind and then threw them to him to chop up to make the beat. I think that that's very unique, or a very unique way to do it. And a way too to kind of customize your sound. So I think that's very interesting. How long were you working on this before you felt like it was really ready to drop? Were you all able to get it done quickly? Because that beat process sounds like it would make things go a little bit faster.
So it ain't take us long at all. We actually did it a couple years ago, and then once we finished it, I had some things going on. So once I finished dealing with that, I knocked them 3 new records out and switched them out. And I mean, it always go quick with us, so it is never a long process, to be honest.
Oh, cool. So, what tracks on Snaps on the Petro feel like the most personal to you, or which one is like your favorite?
Oh man, it depends. Legendary is always my favorite because I love that sample so much, and it make me feel a certain way when I hear it. As soon as it drop, the Project Pat influence, the MJG influence,
Mhm.
it just made me tap into different things that I love and respect about the culture of music in general. And then Hey Mama, because the beat was so different.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I love that record all the time. Every time I hear it, I love it, especially the video too. Shout out to Sherry. And then I can't ask me, um, if you don't mind, because I mean, with the baby come to me and whole feeling of that record,
Mhm.
all of them, all of them. I'm just going
So,
down the list thinking like of what I really enjoyed,
mhm.
especially while I was doing them. And Seats Recline with that You Can't Stop the Rain.
Yeah.
I just was trying to tap so hard into that Biggie and Shaq. You can't stop the rain. I was because that's how it
It,
make you feel.
yeah, that one was definitely like a group. They call it like car wash music, like Saturday morning type
Right.
ride music. But yeah, that was the one. That's when I heard that I was like, I thought he has a real good ear. So were there any songs that didn't make it
Yeah,
to this?
it was a few.
Uh-huh.
It was a few that didn't make it.
Mhm.
Not cause we ain't like them, just cause other records was stronger and it just made the album better.
How has the reception been so far from your listeners and your peers? I know it dropped in June, and did you feel like the
Yeah.
reception was to it?
Everybody was saying I haven't got one bad response from it personally.
Mhm.
Nobody told me that they didn't like it. Everybody, told me they love it. I took too long to put music out, which I did. Told me that they enjoyed it and, come on with it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So now you said before you have like a deep love for 90s music, 90s culture, not even just 90s, just in general, like soul music,
90's,
art.
80's, 70's, all that, 60's.
So what does that era mean to you? Why is that like special to you? How did you end up like taking to that?
I think it was so much emotion in that music, 60's and 70's, especially. Those artists at that time, you know, experienced a lot of different things in the country as
Mhm.
far as, probably where they grew up at, oppression and dealing with the laws and the other people that, so once they got to Detroit or Chicago or wherever they got, and they started pouring their souls out from their gospel roots, felt it. It sounded like Curtis Mayfield. It sounded like Marvin Gaye.
That's
It
right.
sounded like David Ruffin.
Mhm.
It sounded like them voices that you can't recreate because
Yes.
they had a certain something in them that is just, what I mean? Donnie Hathaways and people like that. Unbelievable.
There are a lot of voices just like that I don't think you'll never be able to replicate,
Yeah.
will never hear again. There will never be another like Teddy Pendergrass. His voice is very
It's
distinct. He got
impossible.
his ad libs. There'll never be another Al Green. The music has so much emotion and passion in
Mhm.
it that you can't help but to feel it as well. So I
Right.
completely understand there. So from fashion to like music, what's one thing like from the 90s or from those eras that you wish would come back?
And a lot of I'm a sneakerhead, so a lot of the sneakers that I couldn't get when I was a kid, I just need them for nostalgia purposes. And, the Nautica sweatsuits from 93, 94. They came
Yeah,
out around Easter time. I never forgot them. All of those, yeah.
I do.
Uh,
I I still want a Nautica coat with the little, you know, had the little
They was
keychain.
yellow and green.
Yeah,
I remember.
I
I
still
wanted that
want
so
one.
bad.
Yeah, I would still get one. So I'm with you there. A Helly Hansen suit. I remember they had it Ghostface in the Glacier. Was it Glaciers of Ice video? And those were all the rage and so popular.
I want the polo poncho that Raekwon had.
Oh yeah, the
I, I,
Snow Beach.
I need that. The
Yeah.
Snow Beach. Oh my gosh.
I feel so lucky to have been like coming of age during that time.
Mhm.
After like the baby fat and rock where people had like different clothing lines.
But
It's
they
like
did
for
it
the
original though, because like even if you went and got a Nautica sweatsuit, somebody be like, "Oh, you got the blue one. I'll go get the red one, or I'll go get the." Everybody wanted a different one. Now it's like
yeah.
everybody want to look the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like I remember in particular the uh pink velour rockaware suit, like when they made for girls. And I remember that like nobody wanted you wanted to be the only one, you know, no one wanted to look exactly alike. But
You wanted them white Air Force Ones with that Rockaware suit.
yes, I had it. I had the pink one, and I remember I was pressed to
Yeah,
get to work to to show everybody I had
gotta
it
see
because
it.
yeah, I had to stay claim to like yeah, I was the one.
Yeah, you gotta see it
I remember that's exactly what I wore with and they were fresh
out the
Air
box.
Force Ones out the box. They had everything had to be brand new, hair done to go work at the call center. But I was flying
You was
so
her that day.
yeah. Listen, the sun was shining on me. So, what would be like your top five like hip hop artists from the '90s? No particular order. This isn't like the top five. This isn't the pressure for the top five. Top five. Just
90's,
yeah, from the
like
'90s.
90 to 99, or like
Yeah, because it's so. I'm gonna say we're gonna say like 94 to 99.
top five from 94 to 99.
Yeah.
Biggie, Nas, Ghostface,
Hmm.
Jada Kiss, Scarface.
That's a good list. And you know, I used to get a lot of flack about putting Ghostface on my top five, but I would tell people like you just have to slow down and go back and listen.
Well, years is like he put out Iron Man and the Supreme
Yeah,
Clientele.
come on now. I remember a time I would get the strange look when I would say that because they like
Yeah.
Ghostface, and I'm like, no. You, I know sometimes it would sound like he was saying nothing, but I'm like, you just gotta, yeah, just go back and
Now,
listen. You're not.
I say this: if Supreme
Mhm.
Clientele ain't come out until 2000, I gotta give it to Jay-Z.
Yeah, because he too around that time that was like a Reasonable Doubt came a little bit before. Well, yeah, in '97 that was
Reasonable
Reasonable
Doubt
Doubt.
came in 96,
In My Lifetime.
97.
Yeah, Streets is Watching was in that time. Yeah.
The Streets is Watching is mixed, but 98 was volume 2, and
Mhm.
volume 3 was 99. So
Yeah.
I might got a
You might
J
might have
might
to
go over Ghost right there anyway.
yeah, might have to swap out for that.
I love Ghost though. Like people know that. Like
Mhm.
I got a fantasy football league called Supreme Clientele, so people know
Ah,
my heart when it come to Ghostface Killer. Hove put out like 5 albums in that span right there.
did. He did, and I know you said Streets is Watching was the mixtape, but I remember like the video
Oh,
for that went like triple platinum.
it was
So
hard. And he had
yeah,
that Lexus 430.
for the Dead Presidents video.
Jeez.
So yeah, that was so he certainly had a run during that
Man, no
era.
disrespect to Jay-Z, man. My bad.
Just
My
love
apologies.
but that's why sometimes talking like through these lists are good because I know I've jumped out there and said something, and then my friends are like,
Yeah.
"Hold
I
on,"
ain't want to
and
pick 5 because I was like,
yeah,
man, that's crazy. That's crazy
it's
because you
it's
can't say DMX, you can't say, you know what I mean, so many names
oh
that you
yeah,
that was wild in that frame right
right.
there.
Because DMX was for sure having
98
a
and 99. 98 and
yeah
99.
for
And some
sure.
of these dudes that was going crazy came out the year before and was going crazy on other
Mhm.
people's stuff first. Like
Right.
DMX before he was on LL 4321, destroying it.
Hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? Just all that kind of stuff. So I don't mean
So
no
yeah,
disrespect to anybody, but when people do them fives, they be rough.
it's hard because
Yeah.
especially for the '90s, I feel because so much good music came out through that era, through that time
Mhm.
span, it's hard to pick to me sometimes just to pick narrow it down to 5 people.
Raekwon put
And
out
that's
the
why when
purple tape.
you said right.
Raekwon put out the purple tape in '95. Like these is the things that you
Yeah,
gotta.
we had, what else? Yeah, B did we no, Beanie Siegel was like 99.
That was '99.
Yeah, 90
I ain't want to be biased.
outside of music, were there any, like TV shows and movies and sports from the '90s, or did you just keep it to music?
Martin was my favorite show of all of the '90s.
Okay.
Probably, I just was. I started one episode, one season, one the other day again.
Okay.
When my man was crying in the room, Jada, 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 Jada,
Uh-huh.
all that. You know what I mean? So Martin was my top show. I used to like a couple of shows. New York Undercover. I used to like that.
Oh, yes.
That was dope.
Yeah, that comes on Tubi, I think, now
Uh,
or what have you.
it might be on there. I might have saw it, but I remember that, man. That was a dope show. Fresh Prince was out. That was fire. A lot of good shows. Living Single. But as far
Yeah.
as like stuff that I watched, like I had to watch Martin when it was on. I had to watch New York Undercover. That was just one of those ones for me.
I feel like TV in the '90s, we just had like a real good run of shows because all those shows that you named, I used to watch, especially Living Single and New York Undercover and
Mm.
Martin as well. And so I feel like that was just like a really good time for television. And I'm just so happy that we could still
Yeah.
have those to like replay, especially New York Undercover, because I know they were having problems with like music clearance or something to that effect.
I think Andre Harrell was doing their music, wasn't he?
Mhm, yes, and so if you watch the episodes, some songs are off of there, like, it's either,
Uh,
like, redone music or it's just no sound or, no background music, but when it was on, they had, like, the best soundtrack, like, some of the best music because they had the Natalie's, the stage performance at the end. I always wonder if they did, like, a soundtrack or something,
they
music
could
from.
have. They could have. Everybody that was signed to Uptown Records was at
Mhm,
Natalie's at the end of New York Undercover. Mary J. Blige went up there.
mhm.
Christopher Williams went up there. Heavy D went up there. Jodeci was probably up there.
I'm thinking about Jodeci in that episode of, Martin, the Vernell Hill. That's probably my favorite,
Man. Yeah.
that's probably that's what I don't care, I'm having a bad day, that I'll turn that episode on. Tommy Davidson was a fool on that.
What's your top two Martin episodes?
Okay, I already said the Varnell Hill episode and when Martin his CD player, when he, lost
With
his
Nino
yeah,
Brown.
with his yes.
Nino Brown. Yeah.
I got news about my CD player. So,
Yeah.
yeah, those are my, 2 favorite episodes.
Since
Uh,
you picked Nino Brown, I'm
mhm.
gonna say the Dead Plumber episode
Oh, yeah.
and the episode when he got stuck at the bus station with Miss Jerry on Christmas.
There were so many good episodes of that show,
When he was at
but
the
I've
DMV trying to get his license.
when he had to go to court for the ticket, we had really good, like, really excellent TV, so every time I'm watching those shows, I'll just randomly, like, blurt out, like, "This was really good television."
Definitely.
If you could jump back in time and drop snaps on a Petro in the '90s, who would you wanna collaborate with?
I don't know, because I don't know who would sound like what on what beat. I would want to put Pimp C on the first song on Legendary. I will put Nas on Hey Mama.
Mhm.
If you don't mind, I don't think I'll put anybody on that off the top of my head. Cease Recline. I need a Biggie feature, even though he rapped over that sample already. Gotta run it. Dreaming. I don't know. I can't hear nobody over that right now. And feeling like it's just such an up to date beat that I don't know who from the '90s would have adapted.
So, yeah, I think, that's a good list. I like the Nas. I think that's perfect, and of course, it's always long live Chad Butler over here, so
Yeah,
I think like the
especially
Pimp
on
C.
beat. Oh man.
Yeah, so I love Pimp C. I'm with that. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself through making music?
I will put Andre 3000 on I'm Dreaming.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
One thing I learned about myself through making music is that that's the only place where I really open up about life. You know what I mean? That's the canvas. And then, I just try to paint life. So I ain't, you don't have to ask. I've allowed music to be my therapy. So that's one thing I've learned about myself through music.
So, what is some advice that you would give to any artists that are breaking into the game today?
And just be yourself and don't rap for money. Like if you're trying to make music to make money, then you setting yourself up for failure and disappointment and everything else. If you don't love it, don't do it. Just be you and do everything you want to do. You know what I mean? Like artistically, like anything you want to try artistically and musically, do it. If it's whack, just acknowledge that it's whack. Don't just be whack, because that's a lot of people stuff be whack and they friends be like, okay, and then they be like, okay, come on, man.
Right.
Y'all know that what that sound like like don't just work on it and make sure it's dope. And when it's you know what I mean, put it out.
So, what's next for you after Snaps on the Petro? Any upcoming singles, videos, or collaborations?
Yeah, I got some records coming out with the 17th Cypher. Shout out to Harmony. Got some records coming out with my man Lean Capital. I got a record coming out with God Bless.
Okay.
And I got a lot of music done, so it's about to start rolling out.
Where can people stream your album and follow you on social media?
All streaming platforms, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music. All my social media is Doe Boy Philly, DOEBOY Philly, all one word. Instagram, Twitter, everywhere.
Well, thank you, Doughboy. I appreciate you coming onto the podcast and talking with me and chopping it up about music and your projects and all the things that you have coming up. All right, Saints and Aints, that is our time. Make sure that you like and subscribe for the latest in music and makeup. Till next time, love you. Bye.